So a little while ago, I did a video about bad album covers, and that got me thinking, what else has bad cover art? It's video games. Definitely video games. Alright, so AVGN did a whole series on this, but like, he's still just scratching the surface. There's just so many of these covers, and they're just terrible. And it just, you can never find them all. But I'm going to try to find a lot of them here. I got a lot of these from the Twitter account, Box Art Screw Up, so go check them out. So, we're just going to get right into it. So the first cover I always think of when I think of bad video game covers, not that I think about that often, is Mega Man. The original Mega Man. I have nothing else to say. This is actually the first thing that comes up when you Google bad video game box art. I was going to have this one as the big finale, but everyone's already seen it. It's horrendous. I don't know how dudes at this company were like, yeah, release it. Alright, I'm just going to get these out of the way now. Literally every single Master System cover looked awful. Some of the worst are Black Belt, Pro Wrestling, Outrun, and Alex Kidd. I can't really speak for the quality of the games themselves because I've never played the Master System. Actually, the only game I've ever played on it was Sonic the Hedgehog because I had it on my Wii when I was like 10 and I thought it was like the Sega Genesis one, but I found out it wasn't when I bought it and I was like, what is this? It wasn't very good. But that Sonic cover is one of the few covers that I'd say is pretty decent because it's pretty much just the Genesis cover or very similar to it. But for almost every single other cover, they just use this plain, weird-looking white graph paper background and just slap some PNG image on top and say, yes, this will make people buy our console, which clearly didn't work, except in South America. I guess they like graph paper more than North America. Alright, we're returning to the world of non-Master System games with Phalanx on the SNES. This game is a space shooter. I don't know why he's there. Gummy Bears Mini Golf for the Wii. If this came out on the original PlayStation or something, it would have been still bad, but somewhat excusable. This came out in 2010. WWF in your house on the PlayStation. They're literally going to destroy your house. Packy. I have nothing to say about this one. Alright, so AVGN already talked about this one. Just a dude shattering his hand while also shattering the word hand. I don't know why, but this guy always kind of looked like the AVGN to me too. Kind of. Here's Shingen the Ruler. I think I'm saying that right. Another AVGN one. This one looks pretty decent at first until you realize they partially obscured this dude, who I assume is Shingen. They obscured his face. Also, the cartridge itself has just been totally obscured by the instructions. Why? What was the purpose? You had the instruction book. Why did you need to do that? Here's Snow White and the 7 Clever Boys. Once again, just nothing to add. This company, Phoenix, has also done a few more of these, like Pinocchio and Cinderella. They're all bad. Actually, I think they did Packy too. I think. Ghost Lion. As the AVGN said, it's medieval aerobics time. Gonna be honest, I'm only just finding out there's a third Columns game, and I have absolutely no clue who this man is or why he is on the cover. Fatal Frame. It's based on a true story. Trust me. Anticipation on the NES. These people look so thrilled to be on the cover of Nintendo's first video board game. They also wrote out the alphabet in case you forgot it. You can't talk about bad video game box art without mentioning Super Bust-A-Move. Also, Bust-A-Move 4 looks kind of funky too, but not nearly as bad. Imagine Party Babies. Just like that one John Lennon song. Imagine Party Babies. Killer Kong on the ZX or ZX spectrum, depending on where you live. Look at this dude. I want to see a crossover with Killer Kong and the Talking Heads monkey. You know what? Throw in the Fleetwood Mac Gorilla too. We'll just have the bad cover art monkey battle royale. What? Snood 2 on vacation. The artists were on vacation when they made this cover. Street Sport Basketball and Baseball. These covers just have some really good faces. Keeping with games with Street in the title, we next have Street Fighter 2 Turbo. No, not that one. This one, the DOS version. I don't know why they couldn't just use the regular cover. Super Duper Sumos. I just did not need to see that on a GBA cover. Rollerblade Racer. This is just dangerously 80s. Street Racer on the PS1. This just looks terrible. Fire and Ice on the NES. Don't play this game. It's just that addictive. Also, I've noticed on the Switches, like a virtual console type thing, whatever, the replacement for virtual console, whatever it's called, they actually changed this cover art so it doesn't have this stupid looking sticker on it anymore. It just has the regular cover, which is kind of unfortunate, because I kind of liked how bad this was, but I don't know, I guess it's probably better. Amazing Bump Man on ColecoVision. That's all.
Damn, boy, he's sick, boy!
Alright, first of all, I honestly never knew they made NASCAR games. And second of all, why does this look like one of those like sports edits that kids used to do in middle school when they discovered Photoshop existed? Like, it just looks so unnecessarily sharpened. Also, nice confetti. UFC 4. I'm honestly kind of torn on this one. Like, as an experimental hip-hop album, it would be insane. But as a sports game where two dudes beat each other up in their underwear, I don't really know. Ah yes, all my favorite classic board games are represented here in glorious CGI. Incredible. Now we've got Disco Fever on the Mattel Aquarius. I've honestly never even heard of the Mattel Aquarius until just now. And this is a cover. Dot Man on the VIC-20. Alright, the PAL cover for this game is wild. The developers just slapped a bunch of stock images and called it a day. They weren't even trying. Irritating stick? Yeah, it's irritating enough. Alright, now we've got Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I'm not saying this is bad. The American cover art isn't bad. But every other region just got much better artwork. Like, we just got a darkened picture of Mont St. Michael. And everyone else has got something so much better. And now we have Jumpman on the Amstrad. Now, Blatty Computer Games does not care. They will absolutely steal artwork of Mario for their Q*bert ripoff. Blatty also did Guido, starring a bunny that looks suspiciously close to another cartoon bunny. Big Chungus, of course. Holy... Bruh. Is that David Bowie? Virtual Chess 64? This does not look like chess. Real Madrid the game. This is absolutely horrendous. I'm just realizing how many terrible Wii and DS covers there were. Honestly, there was just so much shovelware on both these consoles that bad artwork is like inevitable. But wow, this is just... It's just so bad. I mean, just look at games like Chegger's Party Quiz, or Pet's Monkey Madness, once again with the monkey covers, or for the DS, Russell Grant's Astrology, Phil Taylor's Power Play Darts, or Gummy Bears Mini Golf again. Also, Bubble Bobble Revolution looks terrifying, and Taito just struggles with box art sometimes. Alright, and I also just feel like I have to mention greatest hits games. Like, you know, the games that sold pretty well for a while, and the companies needed to milk them a little more, so they just re-release it in a new box with a million things plastered all over it. Sometimes these aren't that bad, but sometimes it's Arkham City Game of the Year edition. Like, was it really necessary to toss 3,000 quotes, 77 logos, and 15 Game of the Year labels on this thing? Also, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow is hilarious. This is the Konami's best line. They literally just took a picture of the original game and put it onto the new box art. Like, what even was the thought process here? Why would this ever make sense? As far as I can tell, this is the only time they've ever done a cover like this. But honestly, I kind of wish there was more. It just looks so stupid. It's just so funny. Alright, so this next one isn't really a Game of the Year or greatest hits type thing, but it's just as hilarious. Capcom re-released the PS2 game Okami on the Wii, and the box art is pretty similar to the PS2 version. You know, it looks pretty nice at first, but somehow they used the wrong cover, and somehow used a cover with IGN's watermark on it. How do you mess up this bad? And I also want to talk about Bethesda. Now, Bethesda had a pretty disappointing E3 presentation this year, so now I want to make fun of them. And the best way I could do that was calling their box art bad. Now, for the Elder Scrolls, you know, one of their main series, they've pretty much gone with like these pretty minimalistic covers ever since Morrowind, and honestly, I love them. You know, they're simple, but they're effective. You immediately recognize them. They have one simple symbol in the center, and that's all they need. Before that, though, you had Daggerfall, which had a cool looking skeleton. You know, skeletons are always cool. Before Daggerfall, however, you had Arena. While the artwork itself isn't bad on this cover, I wouldn't really consider it a great cover, considering it was basically meant for an entirely different game, and these people just have nothing to do with Elder Scrolls, really. I mean, they kind of look like they could be like generic characters, sort of. But, originally the game Arena had you, it was centered around you fighting in an arena, you know, hence the name Arena. But at the last second, Bethesda pretty much dropped the whole arena thing and just had you focus on what was mainly side quests at first. So they just slapped on the Elder Scrolls Chapter 1, and he came up with some half-assed story about how Tamriel was so violent that people just called it the Arena. Also, the Bethesda Softworks font is just weird. Also, a little side thing here, in Oblivion, where you actually do fight in an arena, they have a little reference to the original box art, which is pretty cool. Alright, the Fallout series, at least in my opinion, has not had as much success with the box art as Elder Scrolls had. The original Fallout game just had some kind of armored character in front of some kind of cityscape from the game, which, you know, it looks cool, you know. but they give you a nice little glimpse into what the game will be like, which is kind of what you want from a box art, right? But then in Fallout 3, which is where Bethesda picked up the franchise, is where it kind of starts to get a little shaky. I mean, it's just some dude in power armor, just kind of there. I mean, it's not bad, and it's become pretty iconic at this point, but really, it's just kind of bland. I mean, this could be the cover for any Fallout game. It's just some guy. There's nothing really making it particularly unique like the first two games did. And in fact, this is basically the cover for every Fallout game now. Fallout 4 is just a zoomed-in, closer look on the power armor. For Fallout 76, they really innovated the box art. They took a picture on the side. Also, New Vegas stuck with the original concept of armored dude in front of a city. So, you know, good job, New Vegas.
The game was rigged from the start.
And now that I've ranted about Bethesda games for way too much time, I only have time for one more cover. But before that, I would like to strongly encourage you to subscribe so I can keep making videos like this. But now we'll get to this last piece of art. Metro Cross. I don't know whether this is the greatest cover ever or the worst. From the background to the font to the fact that there is barely any indication as to what console this thing even runs on, to of course the centerpiece of this dude with his blue morph suit, yellow helmet, cool skateboard, and slightly drugged out look, to this other random guy trying to sprint off the box art. Everything about this box art is just incredible. How could the creators look at this and say, yeah, release it?
What the dog doing?